Hey y'all, I'm Shayna and I'm back with another review. This is for Love is Blind, Season 4, Episodes 6 and 7. I'll do Episode 8 in its own video because I'm tired, so it's just gonna have to wait. So we're gonna pick up right where we left off. The honeymoon phase is over, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Before we do, if you're new here or if you're not, either way, if you enjoy the video, be sure to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe because I'm trying to grow my channel. All right, so the couples are packing up. We see them, they're ready to go. They're leaving Mexico and they're about to go to their apartments. So it's about that time. It's nice to get all the lovey-dovey stuff out the way. Now it's time to get to the real. So they get to the apartments. They flopping on the bed with their outside clothes. Chelsea got her shoes on in the bed. Just yuck. Then we go back to where we left off last week with Bliss and Zack. And they on that date. And Zack tells Bliss he should have picked her. But of course she feels a way about being number two because if you felt you should have picked her, then you should have picked her the first time. And honestly, I would have left him right then and there. Like, I understand wanting to be on the show. I would have got my little camera time and then I would have left it alone. But she clearly can't shake it and she want to go through with this wedding. They are a better fit. Like, you can see they have much more in common than he had with Irena. I don't even know why why was Irena even an option? I don't understand. But, I just want more for my good sis Bliss. Like, she didn't deserve that. Then we see Kwame and Chelsea. They discuss cleaning duties. And this chick gonna ask him if he know how to vacuum. Like, what you think he grew up in a hut or something? Like, what are you trying to, why would you ask him if he knows how to vacuum? Like, I just, ugh. But she says she can't sleep with dishes in the sink. Like, she just will be up all night. And he's like, you can't sleep with dishes in the sink, but you won't flush the toilet at night? Like, that sounds worse to me. Why won't you flush the toilet at night? They probably, they should have had this conversation a long time ago. So Micah confronts Paul about Irena's attraction to him. Like, how are you confronting him about Irena's attraction to him? She want to know if anything went on. And he's like, well, she was a little handsy at the pool, but I didn't think anything of it because her fiance was right there. So she feeling away. But I don't think she really want him. Like, I think she's trying to make the best of the situation, but I never thought she wanted him. She just wanted to win and to get to this point. Jackie claims her parents are kind of against the process. And again, she might be using this as an excuse to get out of things with Marshall because he's not really her type. And it seems like the more time that goes on, the more she's realizing like he's not her type. I'm sure she has something going on. I know she said something was going on with her dad's health, but I don't know. So Brett met Tiffany's friends and they get all emotional over her. One friend was even crying because she cares about her so much. And I'm like, have I ever had real friends? Why is she in tears? What? But they love him. He loves her. Like, they love her. It's just lovey-dovey. So then Paul and Zack link up, and Zack explains that Paul needs to show Micah he loves her every day, not just tell her one time. Because he's like, I told her one time, and he like, one time is not gonna cut it. Like, nobody's ever gonna get upset because you remind them that you love them and you reassure them. Like, and he was explaining that he didn't feel reassured with Irena, like she would do it in the pods, but once they got to Mexico, she wouldn't do it at all. So he lets him know, like, if you really do care about her, then you need to let her know regularly. And Paul said he thinks he loves her. I feel like he's trying to convince himself. Because what you mean you think you should know at this point you proposed? Meanwhile, on the other side, Micah's confronting Irena about her being inappropriate with Paul. And he set it up like with this suspenseful music, like it was really about to be something. Then nothing happened in that boring conversation. But Micah reminds Irena that she was her only ally. None of the other girls liked her. She didn't have no friends when they were in the women's quarters at the pods. And no one liked you either, Micah. Like, y'all were two peas in the pod because no one liked neither one of y'all. So all y'all had was each other, the mean girls. Irena, she definitely crossed the line. Like, even she was doing too much. She was jumping all over them boundaries with Paul. But how can we feel bad for Micah? When you were sitting all up in Kwame's face when his fiance was like 6 feet away. So Marshall's cooking for undeserving Jackie. He making her breakfast. She explained she never even had a man like make her a plate before. Like, we got to get the standards out of hell. Like, my goodness, what? Ecstatic because he made you a plate? What is going on here? Like, the dating pool is awful. So Chelsea makes a big deal about Kwame meeting her dad, and we spent way too much time. Like, it took way longer than it should have. It really, like, we could have cut this down to like 2 minutes. She's making a big deal. She's all suspenseful, and it's like, is it a racial issue? You know, he's had an issue before where he couldn't even go to prom with his girlfriend in high school because he was black, and you know, he got like some self hate going on. So, her saying this is not putting his mind at ease. Episode 7. So Chelsea's dad arrives, and when he got there, he was cool. Like, she explained the process, and this is season 4. Like, I'm sure this man knows what Love is Blind is by now. Why didn't you talk? What kind of relationships do these people have with their parents? Because before I even left to go on the process, I would have told my parents what I was about to do. Like, I don't understand the dynamics of these relationships, that it's a secret in the first place. So she explained it to him. He don't care. He welcomed Kwame with open arms. He like, if you like it, I love it. I mean, congratulations. Like, he didn't care at all. So I'm like, if anything, he probably was just wondering if he was a good guy for his daughter. He didn't really seem to care about the fact that he was black, like they was trying to make it seem. But Kwame did ask the dad for the blessing. He made sure to call him Charlie, not Charles, because he don't like to go by Charles. And Charlie gave him the blessing. That was nice that he thought to do that, but I don't know what he's doing that for because he don't want to be with Chelsea. So we meet Paul's mom, and she and Micah are like twins. Like, it could have been Micah's mom. Like, they are like a splitting image. It's like, okay, I now, at first I didn't see it like Paul and Micah, like I didn't, but now I see. She reminds him of his mother, down to the blonde hair and everything. Mom said she did a background check on her and Micah passed, and she's just been wanting him to be with somebody for so long. She's so happy she didn't even take time to get to know the girl. You might like Micah's dad's name is Paul, and it's like, okay, we got all these things in common, and that's cool, and then y'all look alike, but like, you might get to know her and realize you don't even much like her. So Tiffany goes to Brett's apartment, and I think we find out somewhere that she has a roommate. Or maybe, I don't know, I just heard that. But she has a roommate, and it's funny because like, she calling him bougie Brett because he got all these like nice gadgets and these shoes, and he got this nice place. And she's like, she said she was concerned about space, and he was like, well, I mean, if you're concerned about space, like, I'll just get a 2-bedroom or a 3-bedroom if that's what you want. And she was like, oh yeah, I can see myself living here. Like, yes, soft girl life, yes. But she said back in the pods, in real life, she would have never gave him a chance because he didn't have a degree. And it's like, you would have really blocked your blessing not talking to this man because he didn't have a college degree. But his talent got him much farther than a piece of paper ever could. Then that no amount of education can override the talent and what God put on his life. So he's a director for Nike with no college degree, but you would have let that pass you by. So I'm glad that they met the way they did. Otherwise, she might have blocked her own blessing. Bliss looks pretty in red, and she comes over to Zach's place for dinner. Could have came over there with some sweatpants for what he was cooking. I didn't know what was going on with the carrots and cheese. But he's embarrassed because the steaks are ruined. I seen like Ziploc bags with steaks soaking in water. I didn't know what was going on. And he like, oh, it's ruined. We can't cook it. Thank goodness we got the shrimp and mushrooms and carrots with goat cheese. The food was looking suspicious to me. What was that? I didn't know what was happening. But what an unfortunate turn of events for all my Married at First Sight watchers. So Zach clearly feels more comfortable around her, but she's still giving him a hard time because you just proposed to somebody else. Like, give him hell. I would never let him live it down, and that's why I wouldn't do it, because I wouldn't be able to get over it. So she did let it go a little too easy for me because they started dancing. He didn't even do much. Like, I don't think he gave her, like, he didn't do no nice gesture. Like, he didn't really try hard. He didn't. He ruined the steaks. Next thing you know, they dancing in the kitchen and stuff. So we walk into Kwame's place, and it's a wreck. Like, it's just like, it looks like a tornado hit it. Word on the street, didn't they say that he applied for Married at First Sight and some other reality shows? So that means you've been trying to get on TV. Like, just for that reason alone, you should at least kept your living room clean. But Chelsea says she don't mind the clutter because he organized a drawer for her on vacation. Like, it's giving desperate. Like, what? What are we had like lube in the middle of the kitchen? Like, what is going on? So Kwame feels like, he doing all the sacrificing because he don't want to leave Portland where he lives, which is 2 hours away, because he got a trail in the back and he do soccer like a couple days out the week. But she like, but I don't work from home. You work from home. Like, this don't make no sense. Like, why would I move to Portland in this junky apartment when you work from home? You can work it from home anywhere. You can run the trail anywhere. So I don't know. And I was hearing people saying like it should have been a conversation, and that's true. But this should have been a conversation in the pods. Every time these people talking about they was in love because they was talking for hours on end and they were talking so much in the pods. What was y'all talking about? Because like, how were y'all not talking about what a potential living situation could have been? He was too busy worrying about Micah and barely even talked to Chelsea, and now y'all done missed out on important information of like the fact that you live 2 hours away from each other. But he applied for a dating show in Seattle, so don't get mad that you found somebody that lives in Seattle and wants to stay in Seattle. I don't know. So Marshall is introducing Jackie to his sister, his brother-in-law, and his niece. And before they get there, Jackie is like having another scene like she liked to do. Like, I don't know. Because like the issue is like always there. Like, if you couldn't get past the fact that your family has some family issues, why did you ever go on this show? Like, why do we keep bringing it up? It was there before. It's always gonna be there. It's a there. So why are we acting like this just happened? I don't know. I feel like every time something important's about to happen, she just uses this. Not to be insensitive, but that's what it's given. So after she complains about, I don't know, whatever she was complaining about, he's like, look, I come take a walk around if you need me so I can leave and give you a minute to breathe. We can postpone it till later. Like, he's trying to find a resolution. And she like, no, we'll just get it out the way. Like, just get meeting his family out the way. Like, what? But she's not ready for a relationship. And she said she never even been in one, and it shows. So he once again is just being patient with her, but he is seeming like he's starting to get frustrated because he's like, she gets in these moods and she stays in them a little too long for me. But he said like he first talked to Tiffany and he thought she was a good fit for Brett because she was too mature for him. He's only 26, but they're both only 26, and she acts like she's 20 and he act like he's 30. So I don't know. He needed somebody a little bit more mature, somebody that was ready for this, and she's not. Jackie does put on a good front when the sister and brother-in-law arrive, and like they getting along pretty well. But it seemed like she just, just putting up a good little front. The brother-in-law pouring it on thick though. He like, oh, I can tell y'all in love. I can see it in the air. What are you looking at? I can see it for Marshall, but I don't see it for her at all. I can see through it. So Micah comes to Paul's place and she's laughing at everything. She like, where you get this couch from? He's like, Craigslist. She's like, where'd you get this couch from? Like, off the side of the road. She's like, where'd you get this desk from? Like, in the dumpsters. And it's just like, what? So she like, no, I'm gonna be your fiance and your personal stylist because we gotta get this together. But he said, he was like, can you see yourself living here? And she said no. So I appreciate the honesty. So where y'all gonna live? She said she goes back and forth between Seattle and Arizona. He don't want to do that. Again, these conversations weren't being had in the pods. Like, if I live in Seattle, I'm gonna show that's Seattle base, and you stay in Arizona. Like, that's something you need to disclose before we get out of these pods. So we get a scene from Kwame pretending to be on the phone with his mom. I understand she probably didn't give clearance for them to like use her voice during the call because like he said hello and then we didn't hear anybody on the other end, so it was like we only heard his side of the conversation even though it was on speakerphone. But it's like it wasn't even the fact that we didn't hear any talking. It didn't flow like a natural conversation. Like, it sounded like he was reading off of a script or something. Like, it could have been a reenactment of the conversation he had, but it didn't give real at all. Mama probably found out that he was going around saying he wanted to call himself Alex, and she probably didn't had nothing to do with it. Cause what? But Chelsea, because first Chelsea was like, "Oh, I want to talk to your mom," and he was like, "Oh no, oh no, can't do that. That's a red flag. The flag is on fire. Flag on the play." But she consoled him. He like, "Oh yeah, I told her I'm a real man and I do what I want to do." He ain't say none of that. Like what? You know this is being recorded, right? Mama really gonna give it to you when she watch this back. So Tiffany's cooking for Brett and she's nervous. Like she don't want to mess up, and that's that cute like new relationship happiness that you have when it's new and fresh. I can't stand with somebody in the kitchen when I'm cooking now. I hate it. Like I will like stop what I'm doing. Like I don't be watching what I'm doing and hovering over top of me. Like we can have this conversation when the food done. Like I want to talk about it when I'm trying to cook. But they do discuss finances, which is very important because they're getting married in like 2 weeks. And she feel like he's a big spender. Well, he got the money to spend with no degree. So Brett was like, look, I'm fine going 75 on the bills. I can do 80-20, like 60-40, however you want to do it. I really don't care. Like, it's fine. He just don't want it to be a roommate situation, like where it's like down to the penny. Like, well, you owe me this for the light bill and I paid your half. He don't want to do that. That's why people normally have like a joint account for these types of situations for bills. You can still have your own separate personal account for your personal like spending, and you can have a joint account for the bills, and you don't have to be sitting there having these conversations anymore. Or you just grab the bill and she gonna pay the light bill, she can pay the light bill, and if you were gonna pay the rent, then just pay the rent. But I am glad that he said he don't want it to turn into a roommate situation. Like he wants it to be, a relationship, a marriage. I think they'll be fine. They're having the conversations and they're actually getting down to the bottom of something, unlike some of these other couples. So Zach plans a romantic date for Bliss. They're on a boat with fruits and chocolates. It's cold. I don't do cold. I would not be enjoying this because if I gotta have on a sweater and they like, ooh, like get close because my hands are freezing. Let me off. Let me off of here. But they kiss. Because Bliss is like, oh, you got to earn this. Like, girl, you been kissing him. And it's obvious from the kiss y'all had. She was talking through it. Like, it didn't look passionate or nothing. And then he said, if you could meet anybody in the world, who would you want to meet? And she said, Oprah. And then she asked him. And he was like, your parents. Then he gets down on one knee. And I said, he better not sing to her like he did with Irena. She already feeling like number two. Well, she is number two. Just like Ayana was to Jared, and we see how that ended. But he proposes. That's where the scene ends. Like, spoiler, I'm sure she says yes. I don't even have to watch episode 8 yet to know that she said yes. Like, they watched them get married and be married for years. But that's where the episode ends. I'll be back for episode 8, so definitely stay tuned. Check out my other content. Be sure to like the video. Give me your opinion. If you agree or disagree, let me know. And be sure to subscribe, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.